The return of Hutch Eckerson, can you tell me how he played, and do you feel like he did what he did to solidify the offensive line a little bit?
He played very well. We watched the film yesterday, and Coach Spurrier. I mean, that was the first time I've been in a film room that he hasn't been getting on a whole bunch of people, and the O-line played extremely well. Hutch played great. TJ had great snaps throughout the whole game, and it was we finally put together a game for 4 quarters.
Stephen, kind of an off-the-wall question. Can you address your relationship with your grandfather on Saturday, and when you talked to him, and what kind of influence he's had on you?
Man, I mean, he's in assisted living home right now, and it was his birthday, and my dad told me that it was his birthday because I had so much going on with Alabama week and just kind of forgot about it. But I called him and told him we're gonna win it for him, and we did. And he could not have been happier. Could not have been happier.
And his influence on you?
He's been very influential. He came to all my high school games at Jefferson, and hasn't been able to really come up to any of these games just because he's getting old. But the last game he went to, unfortunately, was the Outback Bowl game. So hopefully he can come up here for one of these games. It'd be awesome to see him up here.
Stephen, Josh, mentioned that you guys still up here.
Oh.
That you guys still have a lot of season left, and there's talk of no letdown at Kentucky or at Vanderbilt. Can you talk about just what the guys are talking about just in the locker room before practice, as far as coming off that big win and just not letting down a Kentucky, a team that Coach Spurrier I don't think has ever lost to?
Well, that's the thing that Coach Spurrier's been talking about. He said we could easily lose to Kentucky. If we're not focused and we just go in there and thinking we're going to beat them. They hung with Auburn, and they had their chances to beat Auburn. So they're a very talented team. Randall Cobb's one of the most explosive players in the the NCAA. So we got a big challenge ahead of us, and we're just taking it one game at a time.
Stephen, how have you handled the last couple of days? Have you kind of just tried to lay low and stay focused, or have you been out and about around campus, like people patting you on the back, those kind of things?
Not really. There's been people that saying good game and congratulations and stuff like that, but it's usually the same stuff every week. Haven't been doing anything different. Been going to class, doing everything I need to do, and the coaches have been on me and told me they're still going to coach me the same way, and I expected. I don't expect it to be treated any differently.
Stephen, I know a lot of fans, some people in the media, and criticized your play in the Auburn game and the weeks leading up to this game against Alabama. Did that motivate you at all on Saturday?
A little bit, but not really. I've been motivated, since I've been playing here. Since I first stepped foot on campus. After getting in trouble, I wanted to prove a lot of people wrong, and like I said, it's one game that I played, decent in, and we still got a long way to go. We got a lot of football to play, and up next is Kentucky, and that's the only thing I'm really focused on right now.
Stephen, how do you feel you're doing as far as your running style? Do you feel like you've progressed?
I guess I still kind of ran the same way I did in the Auburn game. I just didn't fumble this time. But I also only ran the ball 7 times, or 6, or whatever it was. But I'm still trying to work on it, trying to keep my head up, and that's just what I'm gonna have to keep practicing on.
Stephen, at what point do you think you developed that tough skin to your coach? Maybe when did it set in that this is the way he is and this is how I'm gonna have to handle it?
Well, I've watched him when he was at Florida, and I knew his way of coaching, and believe it or not, my high school coach was kind of the same way. My dad has been the same way throughout my whole life. So I've had the skin I've had for a long time now, and it's gonna be like that forever, I guess.
Stephen, what do you remember about the last game you guys played at Kentucky? That was kind of maybe your breakout game where you came in the 4th and led them to a win.
It's probably more lucky than anything. I kind of just made some throws, and some of the guys made some excellent catches. And fortunately, we were able to get out there with a win. But it's not going to be easy going up there and playing. It's a good team we're playing, and we're going to have to play as well as we did this past week to beat them.
Steve, do you think you silenced your critics with that performance on Saturday, or do you think some people ought to be buzzing around you just sort of because of who you are and all the attention you had coming out of high school?
It's one game. That's the way I'm looking at it. I don't think I've really done anything here to silence any critics. It's just one game, and I think the only way to silence anybody is just going to be doing what our goals were, and that's to play in the SEC championship and to win our SEC championship. So that's really the only way that I think that any critics could be silenced.
Stephen, how nice was it on Saturday? I mean, obviously, the win here was the biggest sports story across the country. How nice was it to lead that, to see South Carolina really up in the headlines for having played so well on Saturday?
Yeah, it was awesome. People are still talking about it, and you see all the highlights on ESPN still, and it's fun to see that. But it's over, it's history, and we're just focused on Kentucky right now. That's all we're really focused on, and that's what we're practicing for.
I guess last year was the game when y'all found Alshon. How have you and him developed since then? And maybe if you can just describe those 2 or 3 seconds when the ball is in the air after you've let it go on one, maybe you put a little air under and just kind of your confidence in what he's going to do.
Well, I mean, as you can see, as everybody's seeing across the nation, I mean, you throw the ball up to him, and there's a very high percentage he's going to come down with it. And it's very nice to have a receiver like that. But I mean, we got several receivers that I'm very confident in. He's just one of them, and he's definitely a downfield threat, and he'll go across the middle. He'll catch anything, and that's the main thing that separates him from a lot of receivers in the SEC and the country.
Do you remember what you thought about him in that game last year? Just the first time you really had a chance to play.
Just the catches he was having were just unbelievable. The one-hand catches, the catches he had over several people, it was unbelievable. And Reed McCollum actually was the first person to discover him. I forgot who that was against.
South Carolina State.
Yeah, that jumbo I threw to him, and he came down with. I think he's the one that discovered him. Actually, the coaches did first, but.
Simon, can you compare the physical challenge you guys had last week with Alabama with the emotional challenge you have getting up going to Kentucky this week?
It's going to be tough, but I think this team is very mature as opposed to previous teams that I've been on. We beat Ole Miss last year, but we didn't do anything, with the season. I think this group of guys were a lot more mature and a lot more focused on the end result. And like I said, it was one game, and we played extremely well. But we got to play like that every week. And I think the guys on the team really understand that.
Stephen, I don't know if you can answer this question for yourself, but looking at the other players and how they reacted, Kentucky was getting squashed by Auburn at one point. They came back, they made a game out of it. You think that helps the motivation a little bit, that these guys almost took Auburn out?
Oh, it definitely does. They've played pretty well, every game. I'm not really sure what happened with the Florida game, but they're a very talented team. They were last year. They almost beat us here at home. We had a few plays that if we didn't make, we would have lost to them. And I think we understand that as a team, and we're just going to be ready for them.
Several years back, this team got ranked in the top 10, was off to a great start, and then really struggled down the stretch to lose a bunch of games. Has Coach Spurrier brought that up, that the game time, at least in history, is that you've had this success and you didn't finish what you started, and just emphasis on finishing this thing out? You've got a couple more really big games and not getting too high right now.
Not really at all. I don't know if he's been telling the media this or not, but he's saying that the history is history. He's not really worried about what's been going on with South Carolina in the past. He's focused on what today brings and the future of the team for this year. He's not worried about next year or last year or anything. He's worried about Kentucky, and it's trickling down to all the players, and we understand that, and we have a chance to have a very special year this year, and that's the goal.
Stephen, you mentioned earlier that it's the first time that you guys could watch film and Coach wasn't getting on a whole bunch of people. That must have been a nice change. What do you remember coming into the season about Coach's, desire and motivation, just preparing for this season and what he hoped to accomplish?
Well, I think he saw the change in the players' attitudes. In the summer workouts, he came to a few and just to see how everybody was acting, and I think he saw the change in the attitude, and I think that's what motivated him a lot about this year's team, and motivated everybody, and that's what we needed to have, and the season's not over, so we still got a long way to go.
Stephen, Alabama is one of those programs that always has a target on its back. And since you guys took them down, have you thought about the fact that not everybody is going to be gunning for you because you took down the big bad giant?
Maybe. I mean, we haven't really thought about that, but I'm sure Kentucky's probably thinking that, South Carolina just beat, Alabama, so they're probably going to be all happy-go-lucky and not really worried about this game. But, like I said, we're only focused on Kentucky right now, and we beat Alabama. That's good. We had to win that game, but it's just one game out of 12. So, the season's not over. It's still young, and we just got to keep playing.
Stephen, continuing the trend of oddball questions, since Sunday, that picture of you in the paper, we've got a lot of questions about this tattoo on your left inside of your arm. Do you mind sharing with us what that is and if there's any fascinating backstory?
And I mean, it's not really anything fascinating. It's as you guys know, I was a huge Greek fan or whatever. It's from the book The Iliad. It's strive for excellence, show courage, and win fame and honor. It's pronounced erte.
In Greek?
In Greek, yeah.
When did you become such a fan of that sort of?
Since the movie Troy. Yeah.
Just letting that sink in for a minute. When you look back last year at what you were doing, I think you were at right 55%, something like that, completion percentage, and this year's a lot different. Mechanically, what are you doing? I know they worked with you on some of that shoulder stuff in the spring.
That, and I think I'm playing a lot smarter than I did last year. That's one thing Coach Spurrier said. Many things that he told me he wanted me to work on, but the main thing he said, he wanted me to play a lot smarter. And I think I'm getting down to the check downs a lot more this year. Not taking as many sacks, getting the ball out of my hands, and throwing it to where the receivers can catch it. And thankfully, we got some receivers that can make some great catches.
Stephen, what do you do off the football field to keep your mind away from the game?
Really, I mean, nothing. Really nothing. Just hang out at my house, have some teammates over, cook, just relax and watch TV, play Call of Duty, anything. It doesn't really, we don't really do anything.
Just not very bold when you play.
Yeah, no.
Anything else for Stephen? One more for Scott. You studied the Kentucky defense at all? I know they got a linebacker who's leading the SEC in tackles right now.
Very talented group of guys. Very fast, very physical. They know what Coach Spurrier likes to do. They know about us. They know about Alshon and Marcus, and they're going to be gunning for us. But we know that, and we just got to prepare like we would against any other team, and just do what we got to do.
All right, thank you.